4 viewers. Oh, who's here? Please leave a message if you're viewing this. That's amazing. I wasn't expecting all this interest in the thing. But before starting, I would like to add you as a Hangouts user, as a actual broadcaster, so we can actually talk. We can share our screen and we can share our development process. And you can ask me questions while I'm developing. That's why I'm trying to. There is a considering did the live word spoken, then 1 second later it's repeated. How do you delay latency? Amazing. Yes, I was expecting this because it's really, I think my connection is really crappy, but don't know. Well, I invited you and let me do this. Okay. I have a chat. Well, let's say that I start, and if you receive an invitation, can I public share the permanent link? Okay. To join the Hangout, use this link. Boom. No, I cannot even share the link to join the Hangout inside the chat. That's amazing. Huge limitation. I don't know what's going on here. Okay, let's say that I start my development session, my live development session, and then if I figure out how to include someone and how to improve the quality of this broadcast, everyone will be super happy. But for now, I have no idea what's going on and why it's not working. Anyway, let's start sharing my screen. Share. Ta-da! That's my screen. Beautiful, huh? As usual, I have my IDE. I use Coda because I like Coda. It's not like, oh, no more delay. Amazing. Oh, it's improving. That's great. Cool. So Roland. Oh, Sabrina is also here. That's amazing. So I had 2 windows open. Sorry. Okay, that's funny. It's okay. No problem. So Roland, I sent you an invitation to join the Google Hangouts if you want. You're not forced to join, but if we want to talk and we want to share more directly instead of like you running message and I answer, we can do it, but I can start anyway. First, do you have some specific questions? Do you want some like specific help on some topics, or can I start my live development session? Let's wait for an answer. Not set up for that, but I can hear you. Okay, perfect. So let's get started. So my development session is focused on the current theme that I'm developing during the WordPress 101 series of tutorial for beginner developers. And I noticed that, let me show you what's the current status of WordPress.com. So the current status of my blog is this one. It's really basics, really not good looking. It's horrible. The blog, it's all over the place. It's just terrible. So what I want to do, because I already talked about integrating CSS, JS, style sheets, JavaScript, and other sorts of files inside the functions.php file, I don't want to do another lesson to show how to integrate external frameworks like Bootstrap or Jquery or external libraries to improve the look and the usability of the team. I decided to do this live development. So basically, I'm going to include Bootstrap inside my team. I'm going to style a little bit my team to use the Bootstrap markup. And I'm going to activate jQuery. I'm going to activate some super small and super simple JavaScript functionalities just to make this team look kind of better. Now it looks, it's really gross. It's really like, you cannot really see what's going on. You cannot really understand probably what's that. So let's get started without too much talking. First of all, let me download Bootstrap. It was get bootstrap.com. Download Bootstrap. So downloaded Bootstrap. First, what I wanna do is I wanna clean up a little bit my functions PHP file. To clean up a little bit, I suggest every user to use comments. Comments in PHP are most of the time redundant if you're just the only developer that it's developing a specific team, but they're always super useful. Comments gives you the ability to understand what you were doing, that specific part, what you were up to, and what's, I don't know, you're developing a team, and after 3 months, you have to go back and do some changes, and you don't remember anymore what's going on and what did you do. So with comments, you can help yourself. So always write comments. And probably you already know how to write comments, but the formatting that I like to use is this formatting, that it's really clear and it's really hard to not match with our format. So let's include scripts. And this one. Activate. Oh, I don't know how to write. Okay, activate menus. On. Team support. Team support. Functions. Okay, good. So first, I want to include jQuery here, and I want to include jQuery, of course, in the future, in the footer. Based on how I did the tutorial and based on how I explained how to include external file, the usual things like the normal thing that a user will do is download the jQuery JS file, include it in the team, and then use the WP enqueue script to call the jQuery. A cool thing about WordPress is come with a ready jQuery inside. So you have to just call the function to enqueue the script and just call jQuery without actually including any external file because it's already inside jQuery. So let's take a look and say WP enqueue script. And let's just call the handle jQuery. So should work. I don't remember. I don't remember if it's something Q or yeah, there you go. So just with this simple code, WP enqueue script jQuery, automatically we grab the native jQuery file that is inside our installation of WordPress. And WordPress automatically include here, as you can see, let me zoom it so probably you can see it better. Yes, here, there you go. Includes the script, the jQuery, the latest version installed inside WordPress. Sometimes it's not always the latest released by jQuery. Sometimes, now I just updated yesterday my WordPress installation to the 4.2 that comes with jQuery 1.11, but the 4.1, I think, was still with jQuery 1.10. So always take a look at what WordPress is printing out and what kind of source file is using. And also, WordPress includes the jQuery Migrate. If you're using a version previous of jQuery 1.0, you need this migrate. If your source code, if your JavaScript source code called some specific functions that are deprecated in the newest version of jQuery, you need this file. If you don't need it, you can exclude it. But something that I don't like, that by default, WordPress includes the jQuery in the header. And sometimes it's okay because we need jQuery loaded before the rest of the site is loaded, but sometimes it's better not. So I want my jQuery installation in the footer so that the loading speed of the site is faster. How are we going to do? Just super simple. As we did before in the enqueue script, we can put it false. Oh, sorry, not true. Still here. Oh, yes. Yes. So that's one of the problem of WordPress, the native jQuery. Because it's a native jQuery, so it's a native handler that calls the jQuery inside already WordPress. You cannot repeat the position, the specific array, the specific version, and then at the end, you include the statement that you want this jQuery inside the footer. We can try, but I totally don't think it's going to work. So let's try this. Let's return an empty string. We can leave it right now. Let's return an empty string and let's leave it through. Save it, reload here. And we're still here. Of course, he doesn't care. It's something that's really annoying. It's really bothering me because you don't have control that you should have, even with something useful as enqueuing a pre-made version of jQuery inside WordPress, but you don't have control where you want to print it. So for now, because it's just a test, just leave it like that. But in the future, it's better to use your own version of jQuery so you have more control. So I just downloaded Bootstrap, right? Yeah, there you go. Let me just grab the minified version that it's way lighter. Let me add it to my site inside, where's WordPress, content, themes, awesome themes, CSS. Let's print in Bootstrap. And then let's include bootstrap.js, still always the minified version because we don't need to edit the Bootstrap source file, so the minified version is faster to load. And let's include also fonts inside folder. So if you notice, I'm using the same structure inside the Bootstrap loading, the Bootstrap file, the Bootstrap folder that I just downloaded. We have CSS, fonts, and JS. Sometimes in some teams, you see that the fonts folders is inside the CSS, or they have like another structure like assets folder, and then inside you have CSS, fonts, JS, and images, whatever. I follow this structure so I don't have to go inside the Bootstrap CSS file and change the permalink, the URL that it's connected to the fonts. Otherwise, I have to change the link, and it's kind of annoying. I don't want to do it. So it's just easy like that. It's a good structure. It's not confusing, and you can always change it in the future if you want. But let's integrate it right now. So we need to integrate our style. And we can use the same exact code. So WP and Q style. And let's call it Bootstrap. A template directory URI to go inside our base theme directory. And let's integrate bootstrap.main.css. The array, we can leave it alone. If we want, we can specify which version of Bootstrap I just downloaded. This should be version 3.3.4, right? Yes, 3.3.4. As I said in the previous lesson, this is not really necessary because it's just for us to remember which version of a framework we are using, but it's not completely necessary. Just to be more organized, use comments, CSS, JS, and let's include also with the same logic, Bootstrap. Bootstrap. JS. JS. Input.js array. And also this one is the 3.3.4 version. We put true, so it's going to be printed in the future. In the footer, let's save it. Let's check our team, reload. And it already starting to look better because, of course, we integrate the CSS Bootstrap. So he already implemented the Helvetica font, fixed a bunch of weird things, and it's way, way more good looking than before. So we just see here we have our style sheet, the Bootstrap style sheet. And you notice here we have our custom style before the Bootstrap style. So I always suggest to put a framework on top of everything because it's the logic of cascading style sheet is the last style, the last CSS statement is the one with more hierarchy. So if you have a class in the Bootstrap file and you repeat the same class, but you change the style in your personal style, if your personal style is before Bootstrap, Bootstrap has priority because it's the last one that is being stated. So always put your custom style as the last one after all the frameworks. So your style will have more power, will have like a priority over everything else, and you can manage the style without having any problem. And you notice here now we have Bootstrap top and personal style at the bottom. And in the footer, we have our JS and Bootstrap JS after that. And we do also the same because in my custom JS file, I will definitely use some custom Bootstrap functionality. So better having Bootstrap before my custom style. So I have it now because I implemented Bootstrap. I can go into my style.css and sorry, no, styles.css is empty. I can go into my awesome CSS and remove these statements that are kind of useless because I'm going to use my basic Bootstrap installation. And everything is native for Bootstrap. So let's check around. We have our nice clean Helvetica. We have all the things, the colors, probably lights. Okay, let's start integrating a little bit of Bootstrap. Still here. Thank you, Roland. Do you have any questions for now? Like something that is not clear, or you want me to do something more specific? Waiting for an answer, waiting for an answer. For now, I keep going, still here. That's great. Bootstrap or Foundation? Depends on you mostly. I know sometimes people like hate Bootstrap because it's too constrictive. Like you already have all the buttons and you already have the media classes and pretty much everything. And people kind of hated the things. And also they hate the fact that Bootstrap by default is a 12-column grid. Instead, Foundation starts with a 16-column grid. But Bootstrap, you have the customization panel before downloading, and you can change. It's amazingly flexible. You can change everything. I like Foundation, but I don't really like the way Foundation manages padding and margin. Sometimes it manages with percentages of or emphasis instead of pixel. I still feel comfortable. I feel more comfortable with pixels, and it's a personal thing. I prefer Bootstrap over Foundation, but it's not that one is better than another. It always depends on you, how you feel comfortable, and depends on what kind of project are you working on. If something is, I don't know, more suited for Bootstrap or more suited for Foundation, you're the only one who can really say that. I hope I answered probably your question. I know it's not a really an answer. It's just you want to say hey or b, oh, whatever you want, it's okay. But it's more of a personal. You can a lot of users likes to use 96 grid also. C percent. Yeah, sorry, I said C. I'm Italian, so sometimes I say Italian's worse. Yeah, percentage are more suited for responsive because they're built for a more fluid layout. But the good thing about Pixel is that anyway, on my desktop or on my phone or on my tablet, I still always want those 10 pixels or white border because I don't want all my elements attached completely to the border of my screen. So having some fixed values, it's always useful. If all your values are percentages and all your values are emphasis, you have to constantly tweak a little bit on every breaking point how you want that specific space. If you have some fixed values, sometimes it's good to have some fixed values, even if could like be kind of weird in a responsive environment, but some fixed values sometimes are really useful and are really less time consuming. Do you agree? I don't know. What's your point of view? we can think about it. So we can talk about it. I'm happy. Continue. Okay, I'm good at it. I'm happy that you're happy. Okay, where was I? Okay, I downloaded Bootstrap, so I integrated Bootstrap in my team, and now I have to style the markup of Bootstrap a little bit. So let's start with the body. I have like zero body. I have just the body tag with the classes, the pre-made classes of Bootstrap, but I'm not using any type of body. So let's start with the standard body, that is the container body. So let's do if class container. Let's do that a little bit. If row, with the menu here, and inside if class call. Delay in chat is pretty restrictive. Yeah, I agree. I think it depends mostly on my internet connection and not on Google. Google should be like pretty good at this thing, but call access 12. Okay. So probably this is like not a news for you, but don't close the container because we open the body, we open the container, we can close it in the future, in the footer. A bunch of users ask me why we do this, why we keep everything open and we close everything in separated files. And if you know a little bit about WordPress, how it works, I think it's kind of a silly question, because having all the separated files gives you more power to integrate it wherever you want and to make your team really manageable and really powerful. You can do pretty much whatever you want. So just another heads up for newly fresh developers. Because of the structure that we have the header and the index and the footer all separated, sometimes we open a class and then we close it in the footer and we don't know what class it's out. So what did I close here? What's this div that I'm closing? Always use comments, and it's better just to keep track of everything. So this is I'm closing the container, and let's comment it with the HTML comment. So I know that this div is necessary to close the container, otherwise it won't work. It's going to be like kind of a problem. I should have, yeah, now I have my wonderful container that fixes everything to the center. And if I open the body, I have the row here, and inside I have the menu. Now I want my menu to have the same structure of the menu of WordPress. So I have to add a container, and I have to style this list with the same style of Bootstrap. This is kind of easy because WordPress by default return a list of elements, a list of HTML. It doesn't return a different markup, and Bootstrap use a list to create a menu. So it's just super easy. We need to just add a container. By default, WordPress add this container with the same name dash container, with the same name that we specified inside our WordPress installation. Let's go to the header. So let me just check format of course, I don't remember the exact markup of Bootstrap. So I'm going to Bootstrap and checking the navbar layout is this one. Perfect. So let's copy this. It's pretty massive, but we will figure it out. So let's paste. Boom. That's gigantic markup. Is this gigantic markup of Bootstrap. Let's save it and just take a look for now what's going on. So now we have our top bar, and it's already built for responsive. So if we scroll down, it appears the little toggle menu with our navigation, and it's kind of cool. We have already drop downs activated. So let's implement this bar with our menu. Hey, hello, David. Just join. Oh, cool. Do you wanna let me know if you want an invite? I can invite you inside the Hangout so we can talk together, and I won't be the only one talking here. But let's keep going. I was integrating Bootstrap inside my team, and I was showing how to integrate all the markup inside the functions, the native functions of WordPress. So let's keep going. Now, what we want to do is we want to integrate this menu that returns a list inside the navbar here on right. So I want to keep just like I want to delete the form because I don't need the form, and I want the navbar aligned to the right. So this one is the default navbar. We remove it, And we just leave the brand. We just like awesome team because it's the name of our awesome team. Yeah, it's so cool. So let me send you an invite. I sent you an invitation on Google Plus. You should have received notification, hopefully, but for now I keep going. So this is the structure of our header. Let's reload it. That's what we want. We want the brand here. We want the menu here, maybe with a dropdown if we implement the dropdown, but for now we don't have a dropdown in our menu, so we kind of don't care about. We can remove the dropdown. So we're gonna have just the actual style. So that's it. This is the style that we want. We want a div, the container, with the collapse navbar collapse class to create the collapsible menu. So in responsive, it's gonna open the toggle, and we want the class inside the UL element with navbar nav, and navbar right, because are the native class of Bootstrap. If we integrate just our code to call the menu inside here, inside the div, is of course is not gonna work. Let me do this. Let me comment everything. Navbar collapse. Okay. If I integrate my menu here and I check results, it's all over the place because of course it doesn't have the same markup. We have to implement the same exact markup if we want this to work. We don't have the navbar collapse markup. We don't have the UL collapse, the UL navbar right and navbar class. So we have to edit the WP nav menu. What we can do is, the good thing about the function wnav menu, it comes with a lot of options that we can edit to change the markup that this function brings. So for example, we don't want the container because the container returns a markup that we don't like. We just say container equal, not as a string, but false. Let's refresh. And we see now, if we go check the source code, the UL is not inside any div, inside any container. So good thing for us, because we can copy the container of Bootstrap and put it around. So we wrap our UL as the container. We refresh and we see now that it's still not working because we didn't edit the UL class. It's inside our UL, it's inside our navbar collapse menu, and this is a good thing. We're starting to get things working pretty good. So just to give you a better visualization, every time you have an array, I suggest you to use this kind of formatting. Is the same formatting that WordPress suggests inside Codex. So you have an array. Every time you have a new parameter, paste it in a new string, just to have better visualization and a better understanding of what you're dealing with. So the other parameter that I want to edit is the class that my WP menu functions returns. So WP nav menu. Of course, if you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm just checking what's the right markup, because I remember what I'm supposed to do here, but of course I don't remember the exact name of the variables. Sometimes there are lots of variables. It's really confusing. So sometimes I check the codex, the source code of WordPress, and check what I have to do here. But Let's keep going. So I want to change the class, and I want to apply to the UL element the same class that I need from WordPress, from Bootstrap. So just say menu underscore class. And as a return value, I want my nav bar, and nav bar right. And let me clean a little bit, create a little bit of space. Save it. Go back on our Safari installation, and da-da-da-da, see, beautiful, right? So what we did, we simply removed the container, the native container of the WP menu nav function, and we edited the class of our nav bar, of our UL with the classes, the native classes of WordPress. So now it's working. It's all perfectly aligned. And we scroll down, we have also the function in the actual responsive menu of WordPress. And we did everything pretty much without touching a line of our WP nav menu. A lot of users use the Walker menu. I'm gonna talk about the Walker nav menu in the future lessons, because the Walker nav menu is really powerful and gives you the ability to edit everything about the nav menu. But some users use the nav Walker to do this, to create a Bootstrap menu results. Instead, you have to just remove the container and change the menu classes with the built-in option of the nav menu. It's really simple. It's really easy. And you don't have to smash your head inside the nav Walker menu. So this is the first step of integrating Bootstrap properly in your menu. Now you can edit pretty much everything, and it's just beautiful. It just looks so beautiful. Happy, huh? No? Okay. Anyway, do you guys have questions? You want me to keep going? Do there's something that you didn't understand or something confusing a little bit? Oh, David, you're connected. Do you want me to give you this thing? Okay, having issues. So David is having issues with his microphone, so he will type. No problem. And Roland, are you still there? I have 2 viewers. That's amazing. Actually, I'm so excited because I was expecting to have to have 0 viewers. I was so close to have 0 viewers. Instead, I have the 2 of you, and I'm super happy. It's just a good achievement. Let's wait for Roland. If you, I'm good, keep going. Awesome. Okay. That's amazing. That's beautiful. Okay, the other thing that I want to do, I want to style a little bit blog, because the blog is one of the, when you start developing a WordPress team, one of the most important part is the blog, because WordPress at the beginning was born as a CMS for blog. Like the only thing you could have built with WordPress installation, like until the version 2, I think, was just a blog. And so let's properly style a blog and giving some credentials and giving some credits to look beautiful. And as you can see here, because I'm using the framework, the Bootstrap framework, good sound, we can see the screen. Awesome. Thank you, Roland. That's amazing. I'm super happy that my connection is not failing me. That's beautiful. I was saying my awesome CSS style is empty because, of course, I'm using Bootstrap, so you can leave your personal CSS style empty. Always remember, though, the style.css have to have all the information of your team. Otherwise, it's not going to work, your team. These information are super important. And I think I did it. I touched base this part in the first lesson, so you can always check this lesson. So let's go into the index. And I want to style my blog. And inside here, the index, because of the last lesson that I did, I used the post format, and I'm using custom content post format. So I have to access those content type to style properly my blog. Let's Open. Okay. So let's wrap the markup of the content inside the article tag. Article tag is HTML5 tag that it's good. It's really good. I don't have to explain like HTML5 is, right? Use HTML5 tags. We are in the future. Let's stop caring about Internet Explorer 6 and let's go towards HTML5 because it's amazing. Just checking one little thing. So one thing that we can do here, we can use some specific WordPress functionalities to customize the article tag. The article tag, if we just leave it like that, it doesn't matter which kind of post we're printing. We're going to see always the same article in the same class because it's a static, but we can customize it based on the content of our post. This is really powerful because having a dynamic class and a dynamic ID based on the content of our post gives us the ability to customize that specific post however we want. So to do that, for example, we want the article to have the same ID as the post. So if we want to call a specific post and we know the ID, we can call the actual ID in the HTML. That's amazing if it's not confusing what I'm saying. But anyway, let's call that this post ID. And because this content.php is inside the loop and we open the post with the post function, we can call some specific pre-made functions inside the post loop that will print the information of our post. So for example, I want the ID of the post to be printed inside here. I just have to open PHP tag and write the underscore ID. Open close paragraph, save it. And let's go check here. So my container, I have my article, and that's it. Article ID post 39. This is the post 39. This is the only one that is printing because I edited the content.php file. I didn't edit the other content image or content, whatever. For a better visualization, let me do this. Let me edit. Edit our post. Oh, I did an update to WordPress 4.2. I remember I did. Quick edit. In the quick edit, I can't edit a post format. That's so annoying, but whatever. Post format, let's roll back to standard. Let's go back to all posts, edit, standard, update, and go back here. Blog, okay. Now we are all standard blog posts, so we have 3 articles, see? Let me zoom it so you can see it better. We have article with the ID specific of the post, and we just call the function the post ID. That's beautiful, right? Yes, it's beautiful. I answered it myself because I don't know if you can answer. So David agrees on the Internet Explorer thing about using HTML5 and stop caring about Internet Explorer. Actually, well, let's not talk about work anyway. Let's keep going. So now I want to integrate a specific class for every specific post. WordPress by default inside the post loop prints all the information of your post with a class. So if your post is a standard, it's going to have a standard class. If your post is a quote, it's going to have a quote class. So it's really customizable and it's really manageable if we print the actual class that WordPress is returning inside, oops, sorry guys, inside the post class. Well, how are we going to do? Just as usual, simple. You will notice that the more you go, the more you will understand WordPress syntax, because it's really easy. I want to call the post class. What functions I will call? Post class. Just super simple. And I don't need an echo. I don't need to echo this thing. Oh, actually, I don't even need the class tag, because by default, WordPress is going to return class equal, is going to return the HTML markup. So don't make my mistake. Reload, and look at that. This humongous class. So we have the same post ID as a class. We have the types post, what kind of status, if it's published, if it's a standard post format, if it has a thumbnail. This one has a thumbnail, so has thumbnail. This one doesn't have a thumbnail, so doesn't have the class has post thumbnail. This is super powerful for CSS, because you can edit and you can change the style just on those posts that have a class. It's just freaking amazing. I don't know. Are you excited like me? Oh, yeah. I don't know. Sometimes I change. I have two screens, so sometimes I go on the second screen and I check the comments that you're writing. It's thank you, David. Awesome, that is handy. Yeah, so super happy that you find this handy. It's just, that's the purpose of all this, and return also the what kind of category the post in is, because it's uncategorized. We have the class category dash uncategorized. That's freaking amazing. So let's keep going. Let's keep add things based on WordPress pre-made functionalities. My basic information, like my title and my meta information, like posted on and blah, 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 I want everything to be inside the header. And if I want to open a header, let's always keep using HTML5 and now open the header file, the header tag. So modern browsers, we recognize this is a header, and we'll read before this part, before the actual content. So we'll read the title. And because it's the header and we have the title, we can print the H1 title. It's better having an H1 because it's the most important part of the blog. It's the first thing that, oh, thank you, Roland. Excited about classes here too. Thank you. Yeah, super happy. And I was saying, sorry. Okay, you can print the title inside the H1 tag. And using H1 is better for indigestion, because the H1 tag is the first thing that the browser reads. So it just points that, and it's good. Let's give a class to this header. And usually the standard class of WordPress is entry header, but it's not like you have to use this one. You can use whatever, like blog header, whatever class you want. I use like the standard class because I feel comfortable with that and I'm used to do it. Another thing is to make this title clickable for the users. So usually in blog posts, in blogs, sometimes you have the title that you can click and you go inside the actual blog. So how we want to do it, how we have to do it is the usual things that a normal developer does is opening the A tag and then href and then print the actual address URL. This is okay. It's not like that it's wrong, but there's a better way to do it. And it's something that we can do it with the pre-made functions of WordPress. We're going to use the tag title to print inside all the information that we need. So we can also remove the H1 things. Inside the title, this function's title is really powerful because it gives us the ability to customize the response of these functions. Usually the title, without having any parameters, just returns the actual title. But inside, as a string, we can return whatever we want. use the sprintf function. Someone just opened a door, sorry. And inside the sprintf function that it's useful to format. Who knows what the sprintf function is? You should know, right? No? Okay. So I was saying, inside the title, with using the sprintf PHP functions is not a WordPress functionality, it's a PHP functionality to return it. Let's use h1 class. Let's use a class, for example, like entry title, just to keep it consistent. We used entry header. Let's use entry title, and we close the tag. We open a href, close a, and we close h1. So now we want to print the information. We want to print the permalink. We want to print the title. To do that, we have to use the function of WordPress called escape URL and the get permalink. And we don't need to print the actual title here because we are already inside the title function. So what we're going to do is break this string in three parts. So the first part stops here when we open the link. The second part is going to contain our link. And the third part is the closure of our HTML. That it's actually is outside. The sprintf class. The sprintf class associates a specific variable to a specific string. So if we put a percentage here, like %s, and we put a value here, the sprintf will take this value that we put here and we replace it to the href. This is good because it's better for like safety. We don't print right away the information inside a string, but we pass through a PHP function. So the PHP function will handle the security of this specific task. What we're gonna do, we need to return the permalink using the function get permalink, and because we are inside the post loop, it's gonna return the post blog permalink. But what we're gonna do, we don't want to be like super confident, super sure. Okay, this permalink it's fine, because a user could inside the WordPress administration panel can manually edit the permalink. So a hacker could inject malevolent code inside the permalink and access our database. It's kind of complicated, but someone can do it. It's always better escape the URL before printing. And we're gonna, in the future lesson, I'm gonna talk about how to create a more safe and secure WordPress theme, because it's better always escaping parameters. It's better escaping variables that can be created dynamically from a user, that variables that are not automatic from WordPress. As you say, like as you see here, I'm not escaping the time and I'm escaping the post thumbnail, because these parameters are not manageable manually by the user. But the permalink can be managed manually. So a user can inject, like, I don't know, drop table or something else that could create a mess. And that's it, right? Yes, that's it. Let's create a little bit of space so we know what we're talking about. So what we did, instead of writing manually outside h1 tag and the link tag, we use the title that inside is going to print our title between the tag that we specify. And when we use the PHP function to properly escape the permalink and put it inside the link tag. So let's take a look what mess we created. Ta-da! So we have inside our article, we have the header, we have the h1 with the class entry title, we have the a link, and then the title that automatically is print inside, and it's clickable. If we click here, we go inside the actual blog post. We can see here the permalink. Any questions? I know that probably this part is a bit confusing. I don't know if you have any doubts. It's I don't know if I explain it properly and if it's totally understandable for you. I hope so. But should be okay, right? Yes. Okay. Let's keep going. So now we have our thumbnail, the post thumbnail. I want to put this post thumbnail as, first I want to put like full size. Full. And also I want to wrap this post thumbnail inside the Bootstrap tags. To do that, I'm going to take a look at Bootstrap tag. And I want to use the class thumbnail. And what I want to do, actually, I want to edit my blog loop, my blog post, where I have the post thumbnail that is small on the side and my content that is big on the other side. And the post thumbnail is here and it's limited and it uses the WordPress, the Bootstrap class. Yes, I'm confusing. I was the effort I was looking for. Tomorrow, illumination. Confused. Sorry, Roland. Sorry if I confused you a little bit with this explanation. It's not that complicated. It's me that I have some issue explaining. Basically, you could have write simply open the h1 tag and the a tag with the link and put the title inside. You could have done simply this. h1, close it. A href PHP get link. Oops. Link. Close the a tag and then reopen PHP title. See what's going on now. We have two titles, and as you can see, the structure is exactly the same. I just didn't apply the class. Sorry, I forgot it. But the structure is exactly the same. We have h1, we have the link and the title inside. h1 link and title inside. We don't have the permalink because I forgot to echo this value. Now we have the permalink also on the second parameter. So as you can see, it's exactly the same. The good thing about this formatting that you open the PHP tag just one time, everything is inside a single string, and you can escape the URL in a more secure way. And using the sprintf functions of PHP gives you the ability to put this value dynamically inside this position without doing manually. This is less secure and a little bit confusing because you have to open manually the tag, you have to open and close PHP one time, you have to open and close PHP a second times, you have to echo the get permalink. Here you don't have to echo anything, so it's more secure, it's more safe. It's just, I think it's a better explanation than I did before, but I'm glad you asked. I'm sorry if you're confused. I will try to be more clear. Clear? I don't know. I still have issues with English, but anyway, let's use this. So let's open our WordPress markup. Let's open a row, close a row. Data here, I want if class call XS 12 because on mobile I want to be big as the entire column, but on screen bigger than also called small. Let's say I want these to be 4. And this one, we do the same here. And we do on XS is 12, on small is 8. So 8 and 4 is 12. They're going to be aligned one after another. And I print the content here. And I remove the tag that I don't use. So now I have on a left column, that is a 4 column, the thumbnail. And on a right column, there is an 8 column grid, the content. This thumbnail is going to be way too big for my column because it's this huge. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to call the post thumbnail as an actual thumbnail. So WordPress is going to call these functions, this image, with a thumbnail format. And using the WordPress class, I can apply a thumbnail class to this container, and it's going to apply all the style that WordPress has it. So refresh it and see now we have, it's kind of horrible because WordPress, it's kind of confusing. Class thumbnail. See, this is the thumbnail of WordPress, and this is my thumbnail that to be a proper thumbnail should be a square image. It's not a square image, so it kind of looks odd, but it's okay that you see my point. I have the row, this entire container, with my class with a 4 column grid and an 8 column grid, and I have my content on the right and my thumbnail on the left. Now you can see here this post, they don't have a post thumbnail, so it's kind of weird looking. We have this white space without a post thumbnail. What can we do about it? We just use an if statement and manually change the markup, dynamically change the markup based on the fact if we have a post thumbnail or not. And it's super easy. Just open a PHP tag and say if as post thumbnail. This is a functions that returns a boolean, so returns or true or false. So if as a post thumbnail is true, I'm gonna print this. If is not, I'm gonna create a different markup. You can also put an exclamation mark at the beginning. If you put an exclamation mark, this result is opposite. So without the exclamation mark, this is true. So if as post thumbnail, it's true. Instead, with an exclamation mark, if the question is if this has not post thumbnail, so this is without a post thumbnail. So you can invert the response of this function with just a exclamation mark before the function. This is a native option of PHP. It's not an option of WordPress. So if has post thumbnail, let's use this markup. Else, good. If I want just this to be a 12 column and the content at the center. Let me format a little bit this. So now we have these two options. So if as a post thumbnail, let's create the structure for the post thumbnail. If does not have a post thumbnail, let's just print the content with a 12 columns, so full column. And it should work. Yes, the first one, yes, it works. Super happy. The first one has a post thumbnail, and we have the 2 columns structure that we decided. The second and the third blog post, they don't have a post thumbnail. So this structure is not split into different columns, but just have a single 12 column grid. Is everything all right? Still, you're still there because I see two, but is it clear? Do you have questions, guys? It's all good. I'm good so far. David is good. Please keep going. Roland's still there? I think so. So it's been an hour. I think I'm almost done because that was my goal for this live development session. My goal was implementing Bootstrap, changing and recreating the header, the navigation menu with the same Bootstrap logic, and style a little bit the blog just to look a little bit more organized and less horrible. Actually, here for the blog, I could put instead of post thumbnail, I could put medium, and I can say should look better. Yeah, it looks kind of better. All good. Also, Roland is all good. So I will stop now with the development thing because I don't want that users that follows the tutorial will see in the next tutorial where it is too different from the point that they left. Of course, I will release this entire source code on GitHub. I will update the GitHub repo. So if you need it, you can download it. And do you guys have questions? Can I answer your questions? Can I answer your doubts? Can I answer something else? Actually, let me roll back my screen so I can show you my wonderful face. Hey, hello guys. That's it. I'm here, super, in all my grace and all my giant face. I look at the right. Oh, let me change. Okay, there you go. Beautiful, huh? Hi, Alex. I got one for you. Go, David. What's your question? Syntax for you are very familiar with the syntax for PHP and WP. Yeah. So the PHP syntax, I'm kind of familiar because I have 10 years of experience of PHP development. I actually started as a backend developer, a PHP backend developer. I developed a lot of portals and communities and backend management system. It was the most boring thing of my life, but I learned a lot about PHP. If you're not familiar with PHP, there's the almighty Google that it's always useful. And I use the PHP code base that is the php.net. Should be. Let me check. Yes. PHP.net has all the functions that you need. And it's really explanatory. The good thing about PHP.net also, you have the first part that is the explanation of the function with some examples. And then at the bottom, after all the explanation, the users leave comments with examples of those functions in real life. So you have actually examples of how those functions can be helpful for you in some specific case studies, and it's really good. WordPress, the syntax of WordPress is really, really similar of PHP. It's WordPress is built in PHP, so it's kind of identical. And the WordPress Codex library is amazing. It's just, you can find all the answers, and the search functionalities inside the Codex is really amazing. You can write like how to implement post thumbnails inside your post, and it will return the actual functions that you have to use. It's just super powerful. So I suggest, I always keep, when I develop, I always keep two windows open, one with the PHP code library and the other with the WordPress code library. So I'm confident because most of the times I use the same functions, but I always take a look at it, especially because they update those functions. So never always use the same functions, but always take a look at the libraries and see if they update it. I hope I answered properly. Just curious. Who maintains the WP Codex? The WP Codex is maintained by WordPress.org, that the same developers that they develop WordPress. So it's always up to date to the latest version. And if a function is like deprecated or you have an alternative, it's always stated with a link, like this function is deprecated since version 3.9. Go here for the new updated. And it's maintained by the same developers that they develop WordPress. So it's always at the same point as actual WordPress. It's not maintained by a third-party users or community. It's all integrated in the same massive, gigantic community. No questions from Roland. Nice. Okay, I see. Sounds like professional, great frameworks. Yes, actually, I think personally the WordPress Codex library is the best thing ever that I've ever had as a developer. It's like always updated, always full of examples, and super easy to understand. And it's just amazing. And the WordPress Codex also has a forum with the same WordPress developers answer users' questions. So they, most of the time, the answer is, here's the link to the Codex, or here's a link to the tutorial that we already wrote. But a lot of the time, they actually write to you a specific part of code that you can use to solve your problem if you have a problem. And it's a really good, it's like one of the best community ever. I don't know, WordPress community is just so good. That's great endorsement. Oh, thank you. Okay, Roland, do the plugin in WordPress offer the kind of security that escape URL type of code offers? No, that's the major problem. So I use a lot of plugins, of course, because plugins make your life easier. It's just you have the piece of code already created, already built. You just click, 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 install, it works, done. But because I'm kind of crazy, sometimes I open the source code of the plugin and I look, what's the code? How was written this plugin? And well, recently you don't have this problem anymore, because when you do a research for the plugins and you see that the first plugins that return in the results page, they're always super tested by the same WordPress developers. So you're kind of safe. Every plugin has a ranking of stars. Those stars are mostly made by users review, but also by developers review. And also, as always stated, if that plugin is compatible with your current version of WordPress. And if you use like some most famous plugin, I don't know, like Jetpack is developed by the same developers of WordPress. If you use the WordPress SEO by Yoast, or I don't know, W3 Cache, like these huge plugins that are really famous are super safe, and their code is really maintained like properly. But if you use some like small plugin to integrate some small functionalities and some kind of thing, I suggest you to avoid it and write that functionality by yourself. Or something that I used to do like 4 or 5 years ago, I used to download a plugin with the functionalities that I needed, open the plugin, check the source code, and rewrite it properly with the properly safe like WP cases or escape URI, or all the properly WordPress safety procedures. So if you have time, of course, if you're in a rush, you have like to develop something super fast and you don't have time to check it, you can avoid it, but always check the source code. It's always better spending like those 10, 15 minutes more before avoiding to have I don't know, a hole in your security, in your firewall or something. But that's, I think, yeah. Did I answer properly at your question? Always check your plugins. Never trust anyone. Don't even trust myself. Don't even trust me. Like, I'm showing the code that I'm building usually. Don't trust my code. Always question everything. Always say, okay, this code is fine, but is there a better way to do it? Never be satisfied about a code, how it's written. So always improve the code community. Do you have a set of plugins that you use regularly? Yes, absolutely. So regularly, like, there's no WordPress installation without Jetpack for me. Jetpack is amazing because is not a single plugin. It's a collection of plugins developed by Automatic, that is the same company that created WordPress. So the developers that are developing WordPress are developing also Jetpack, and it's like it seamlessly integrated. I think is that a word? Seamlessly? Yeah. It's perfectly integrated. It works every time, and it gives you a lot of different functions and different options. Actually, I can show you my personal website and show you the plugin that I'm using. Let me do the screencast. Screen share, screen one, share. Present to everyone. Okay, sharing here. Let me open my wonderful site that I actually have to update. It's kind of outdated. It's kind of like old, 2 years old. And if you're interested, I think I'm gonna release the source code of my team on GitHub after I develop another theme. I don't know what I'm gonna do if I have time, but I will definitely seamlessly. Thank you, Roland. Thank you so much, Roland. Seamlessly. It's a really complicated word for me. Damn. Okay. If I remember my password. 4. Yeah, super fast. These options here, like logging with your WordPress.com and prove that you're human, are built in Jetpack. So if you notice here in the upper right corner, I have these statistics that also these statistics are from Jetpack. It's everything inside. Jetpack is one of the best plugin ever. Like, I suggest you always to use that. But the usual plugins that I use are Akismet, that is perfect to block spam comments and unwanted ping or redirect in your WordPress installation. Contact Form 7, that is really powerful to build contact forms because it gives you, I'm going to show you if you never used Contact Form 7, you can build your own contact form and you have an open markup element. You have this HTML text area where you can build the markup of your contact form, and you use some like pre-made token that you can generate a tag from here. Like, you want the generation of the email tag, you want it required, all the things, and return like the actual tag that you have to copy and put inside your code. But I think it's the only one, or like one of the few, that gives you a completely open environment to write your own code for the contact form. You're not bounded to a pre-made code. This one, Crayon Syntax, I don't use it anymore, but I have it because I have some old blog posts that I use this syntax highlighter to show some specific part of code. Disqus, the comment system of Disqus, I use it just if I have a blog to build. If I have like a proper, a different website, I don't need a comment area, I don't use Disqus. But Disqus, I like it because you can leave a comment and log in with whatever account of social media you have, Facebook, Google+, Twitter, Disqus account, WordPress account. You can simply leave a comment and log in with that. Jetpack, the advanced version of TinyMCE. TinyMCE is the engine that powered the editor of WordPress. And the advanced option enables some specific advanced features. WordPress SEO by Yoast for me is the best SEO ever because it's so clean. It doesn't add a shitload of source code. It doesn't like clutter your HTML, and it's super light. This is a plugin that I'm developing right now. WordPress Bubble Wrap. Create a speech bubble on top of an image and comments and notes. I currently, you can see here, by Alessandro Castellani. I'm developing this thing, hopefully. WordPress page navi to insert numeric pagination, and the lightbox to open pictures with a lightbox effect. Pretty much these are the standard plugin that I always use. And just to keep going a little bit with Jetpack, I want to show you the settings and the functionalities that comes inside Jetpack. And Jetpack comes with all these rows are unique plugins. So you have the ability to activate and deactivate and change the settings for specific plugins inside the Jetpack repository. And it's just amazing. And the beautiful thing about Jetpack also comes with Photon, that is like a CDN, a really low-end CDN. Is not that powerful, but a CDN to host your own pictures. So it boosts a lot your website speed and security. It enhances a lot of the security of your WordPress site. So I always like, if I have one plugin to suggest, is Jetpack. Just always use Jetpack. Never avoid Jetpack. It's just a collection of beautiful and super useful plugins. That's it. Other question? Great. Oh, you're welcome. Let's go back on my face. That was helpful. Oh, I'm glad. Yeah, that was the whole purpose of this live development session. So being helpful for someone, it's just what makes me happy. Okay, if you guys don't have other question, I think it's a wrap. We can close this live session. And I already have the 8th part of the series of tutorials. So I have to edit the video. I will release it, I think, in a couple of days. And if I have time, next week I will do another live session. I will start right away with Hangouts. I had so much problem with the control room on YouTube. But anyway, thank you, guys. We are 3 people. Well, we are 3 awesome peoples. It doesn't exist. We are 3 awesome people. So let's keep developing. Let's keep pushing forward and never stop. Thank you, everyone, and see you next time, hopefully. Have a good weekend. Bye.